now this goes right into what we were talking about before camera. That stat about player ratings, returning player ratings, and this one's gonna go off the chart. I haven't seen too many of these this year, but Jimbo Fisher gets back 10 on offense and 10 on defense. So that's a big one right there. So let's go into big old Jimbo Fisher. What you think about Jimbo Fisher as a coach in his position right here at Florida? I mean, at Texas A&M, big regular.
Yeah, well, he's the one who got the NIL ball rolling pretty hard. Saban was bitching about it, but not this year. Alabama had the number one recruiting class this year, but the year before, Jimbo Fisher because of NIL. But yeah, he's pretty savvy. He's a great quarterbacks coach, top notch in my book. And yeah, I mean he always has a good game plan. And as far as a coach, I don't like what he did when he left, the way he bailed out in Florida State. But coaching wise, yeah, I think he's a top 5 coach in college for sure. Sometimes it doesn't equate to W's on the field for him all the time. He's kind of a quirky guy when it comes to that. But recruiting wise and coaching, talent wise, he knows how to put a team together. So yeah, he's definitely a top 5 coach in my book.
Yeah, well, he's definitely stepping out of his character this year as he brings in Bobby Petrino.
Yeah, Bobby Petrino, yeah,
and take over the play calling. And that's one of the things I've seen in Brian Kelly's career. He had that problem early on, trying to be too involved with the offense and the defense, and he learned to assign the job to the right people. And a guy like Bobby Petrino coming in as offensive coordinator, we talked about that too. Like, the offensive coordinators are making nice money as well. So it's just as important. A lot of ex-head coaches and stuff will step down just to be able to be with the offensive coordinators and be involved in stuff like this. Jimbo Fisher, he's been here 6 years. He's 39-21, 25-7 at home. But he is 7-13 on the road, so we got to watch him on the road. Returning 10 on offense, 10 on defense, and then he even jumps in the portal and grabs 8 more. So he's doing a lot over here this year. I mean, if you want to get right off top, if you want to claim a dark horse in the SEC, it's got to be Texas A&M this year. They're getting back. Or they're getting Connor Wigman. That's their new quarterback. Or it was his second year there. But even though he's a second-year guy, it is a quarterback battle over there right now. And interesting thing about this kid is that he's one of those baseball QBs. And but he was a shortstop. He wasn't a pitcher. So he's a little athletic as well. So he leads right now. He'll probably get the job, but it's up for grabs for quarterback.
Yeah, that was a struggle for them last year at QB. So, and then bringing Petrino on board, to kind of I don't want to say jumpstart the offense, but just kind of let Jimbo make other decisions and be involved and kind of sometimes if you step away and look back in a little bit, it's easier to make. You think with a clearer head, you make better decisions. So maybe that wasn't it. Maybe he's just kind of trying, like you say, something different this year, bringing him in. And, I mean, he's had great success, running offenses in the past. But I could see a big improvement in that regard there. But, when Kellen Mond left, and, even he had his struggles when he was their starting quarterback. But I think this year should be a different scenario, a better output for them at quarterback for sure.
Absolutely. Not to mention Wedgman. I can't pronounce his name all the way. I'll get better as the season goes. But this guy did well as a freshman. No turnovers. So that's, a lot of good offensive coordinators. If they could just keep the guy not turning over the ball, they can make him a superstar with the most minimumist throws he has to do. But not turning over the ball is huge at quarterback. Basically, the rest of the offense, they're just stacked with experience. They're stacked with talent. In the small spots where they didn't have talent, he went and put talent there. Not to mention last year, they were 97 points per game, but points per game could be can be outweighed. You know, it's a matter if you win or lose, not by how many points. Rushing against they were 70, which is not great, but passing they were number 2. So they're gonna continue to throw the ball, and hopefully they develop the run a lot more. And the offensive line is definitely back. Hopefully the maturity of the line makes a difference for them as well. You got any notes on the offense over here at Texas A&M Big Red?
Just, overall, like I was talking about with the NIL, they had the number 1 recruiting class the year before last. So this is kind of like the year where they're going to start implementing a lot of those players, and that's on both sides of the ball, not just the offense. So maybe not this year, but next year, look out for Texas A&M. But they'll still be dangerous this year. But next year, they'll be, they're going to be hitting their stride next year. But this year is when they, with the new offensive coordinator and then figuring things out in the quarterback position and the talent coming on, there'll be somebody to reckon with next year. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a bowl team this year for sure, but they'll probably be like mid-pack type offense. I don't look for big offensive numbers from this year, but I definitely improvement over last year.
Well, I think that it's all going to come down to, and this happens to a lot of teams with 10 returning on both sides, is staying healthy. Like, you got so many good guys out there going at each other. If they can stay healthy and with all this experience, then it'll help them in the long run. But they got to stay healthy on the offensive side of the ball. Like I said, they're full of talent at every position, and now they have the experience to go with it. Jumping into the defense, and there's not much I can say about the defense. Last year, they were number 33 points per game. They couldn't control the run. In order to be an elite team, you got to control the run. So hopefully some of the talent that he brought in should help him. He's bringing back the same DC, DJ Durkin. So, that should work well for him in putting the system. And then there's not much else you can say. The secondary should be elite this year. And they had an addition of Tony Grimes from North Carolina. And the front 7 is going to be solid as well. They got some big guys up there, some fast guys. They are fit to do it. If they can do it, like you said, Big Ragu, it has the sauce came all the way together yet? I don't know. It might be premature, but, it's going to make it tough next year when some of those guys are gone and you have to replace those guys with other guys. So while you got the 10, you got to kind of benefit on it, or at least make a good shot at trying to contend or be that dark horse.
Yeah. I mean, the defense was good last year. I mean, 365 yards a game, right? And what they said, 20, 21. Did you say how many points per game? I got 20.
Well, I didn't say how many. I said
20,
that they were ranked number
22
33.
points a game. I mean, so, and they lost some games last year too. So, they really had their offensive struggles, but I don't think the defense was one of them. And I think they'll be right back. They did lose the defensive coordinator. What's his name? Craig Elko, I think. He left. And so he's an ex guy too. I don't know where he went to, but he's gone. So we'll see. Who's their DC now? Do you know? You got that handy?
DJ Durkins.
Oh, Durkin. Okay, from Maryland, right?
Yeah, DJ Durkins.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that was a controversial hire after that again, right? So they got him. So yeah, I mean they're trying to do things a little differently this year, but hopefully things pan out for him. Getting his story straightened out, and and he's not the only guy controversial coach that made a big comeback this year too. So we'll talk about them a little bit later. But yeah, I mean they got top level coaches, top level talent. It's just a matter of gelling this, put this team back together as far as getting them all on the same page. With these new OCs, DCs, and game plan. Talent's there. They're young. They're going to work into things.
Yes. And looking at their schedule, they got a tough one all in a row. They got to go through BYU, LSU, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, and Alabama, and also they got to play at Florida. So they got their work cut out for them. But like I said, or we talked about before, they're equipped to do it. And I think they could go an easy 4-0 right here. New Mexico, Miami, Monroe, and Auburn, if they're any type of good like they're supposed to be, they should definitely go 4-0 before reaching Bama.
And then you start betting against them after that because they'll be over. You know, they'll have. I would say they would have a little bit of betting value that, you know, a little bit of, I want to call it a false narrative, but you know how things go when you think you got somebody figured out. And we see it all the time with the cupcake schedules early on. You know, we see inflated numbers, we see this, you know, then reality sets in after about week 5 or 6 with some of these teams that are quite not championship level teams, but they're bowl eligible. They're, you know, 2/3 of the way to bowl eligibility right there. And then, you know, they got to pick up a couple games. Like, so they'll probably break 500, you know. But yeah, Arkansas, Alabama, and Tennessee, that's a tough stretch right there.
Yeah. I had the wrong note out right there. It's for them. It's Arkansas, Alabama.
Yeah, you had
Tennessee,
the right graphic when you were reading it. But yeah. Then when you start reading, you figure it out.
And LSU, they got to play in a row, so they got their work cut out over there.
Oh, at the end of the season, at LSU,
Yeah, so I had them under 7.5 right here for the year, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll know after they go 4-0. We'll know if they're gonna go past that 7.5 or not. But like I said, health is a big issue, and when you take future guys, you mostly want to take the unders that you like because of health. Because if that quarterback goes out or something, it's going to lean towards your bet, not the other way, hopefully.
That's an intriguing number, that 7.5, because in reality, I mean, you know, they beat Abilene Christian, let's say, right? And they can get, I think Mississippi State's going to have a little bit of a down year this year, so that's 6. So they got to beat Arkansas, South Carolina, and they got to win 2 out of 3 of those. That's going to be tough. South Carolina.
Yeah, you know those books, they always hit the number, right?
They dangle it, man. They dangle it.
Yeah, they dangle it. But like I said, if you're going to bet it, you take the under because health counts against them. I mean, if you take the over and considering health, something goes down, Wegman doesn't come out to be the player he's supposed to be or something, then you're done. But let's go and take another trip somewhere else. It's about that time.